Gordon and Barbara Richiusa is with us today. Welcome back to the show. Good to have you with us today. A little bit of background on you. I know you're teaching over at Saddleback, actually, in the communications field and writing and all that, and you've been involved in writing and in productions as well. But you're also a celebrity here in the community at one of our gates.
It's Gate 3, yay!
Very good. Well, I know a lot of our folks when they come through Gate 3. So last week we showed and Barbara, you win the prize. You were 3. You picked The King's Speech, Best Picture. You also said that would be the Best Award, and it was also going to be, you also picked Best Actress Award, Portman as well in The Swan. So you get 3 for 3. Why are you so smart? How'd you figure all those out?
I didn't take too much credit because it was pretty much a shoot. Most people predicted what I did. Mm-hmm. No surprises. So that was pretty easy.
Okay. Gordon, you weren't quite as perfect. You were 2 for 3. You picked Social Network. Why Social Network as the Best Picture?
You know, I changed my mind at the last minute because I had seen King's Speech first before I saw any of the other films, and the first thing I said, and throughout the year I kept saying, that's going to be the Best Picture. And for some reason, I got to the end there, and I just didn't believe in myself enough. I really like Aaron Sorkin, who actually won for the script. So I went with King's Speech at the very end, and I really kind of kicked myself after I made that prediction because I really felt like King's Speech was the best film anyways, but there were so many. There were so many good films in my opinion.
Right. And that made it hard with 10 of them as potential Best Picture winners. It made it a little bit difficult as well. Well, one of the controversies of the Academy Awards this year was an animated feature, be it a full-length one, Toy Story 3 from the Pixar Disney folks, was nominated both for Best Animation and Picture of the Year. What's your feeling on that as a professor in the communications field?
I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy, and you know, obviously, the picture that was nominated in 2 different categories, of course, won the Best Animated Feature as well. It's just not fair. Should we have another category that says Best Live Action Actor nomination as well as Best Picture? That just doesn't make sense. It's just silly, I think. We should just leave things as they were, maybe. I don't think that the 10 films is a good idea either. It makes it impossible for critics like ourselves to even see all the films. Last year, for instance, I saw all of the documentaries, all the short features. I didn't see any of them this year because I was busy trying to get to the Best Picture nominations.
Right. Barbara, what about some of the other awards that were given out, some of the other awards on Sunday night? How did you feel about some of those?
I really felt that Jeffrey Rush should have won the supporting role because even though Christian Bale was phenomenal, Jeffrey Rush showed more with just his expressions. Without having to even speak, I thought he was a better actor. Mm-hmm. But
and I think you said also that showing that kind of dramatic emotion is maybe a little easier.
It is. I think if someone says, "Shoo, why don't you do a drunk?" That would be a lot easier than to emote to me something without speaking. Mm-hmm. So my view of a better actor probably is different. Not to say that he wasn't great because all the performances were great. The movies I thought were very dark. The Winter's Bone had great performances. And I just don't like that dreary type of movie. Mm-hmm. I want to see something up or something different.
What about movies that get made over and over again? I think of True Grit, for an example, which was a venue for John Wayne a few years ago, now back again. Supposedly this one truer to the book. I've never read the book, so I don't know. Your thoughts on True Grit? Either one of you?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely like this. This is a redo that is better. In every respect, it's better. I mean, John Wayne, God love him, but Jeff Bridges just like pushed him in the corner because, I'm sorry, those John Wayne fans are going to hate me.
And for me, the book was very closely followed by both. And the thing that people liked about both movies was the dialogue was true to a certain style, which apparently was taken right out of the court records at the time. It was the way that the court records were written.
I see.
So that's why the characters were great. It really, in my opinion, wouldn't have mattered too much who played the parts because the characters are so good.
Okay.
I disagree.
So based on a book, and we talked about screenwriting, and one of the things you teach, I guess that they've broken it down into two categories. One is an original screenplay, and one is a screenplay based on something else, be it a book,
Adapted.
a play, or short story, or something else. So they've kind of broken that up now, I guess, coming up with an original idea as opposed to, not to malign it, but rehash script right off of a book or something.
Right. Well, and Social Network was the adapted screenplay, and David Seidler, who won for the King's Speech for Best Screenplay, original screenplay, is could be a member of this community. In fact, he's
Right.
one of the older. In fact, I believe he's the oldest screenwriter to win.
Channel 6
Oh,
Monday
great.
matinee as well. Let's switch gears and talk about the TV program, the TV production of the Academy Awards. Your thoughts on the hosts?
I thought they did a pretty good job. I was more impressed with Anne Hathaway than with James Franco. I think he could have been a little bit more witty. I think we need just a little bit more humor from him. But all in all, I think it was, it was a fairly good show.
It was about as good as I could have expected, honestly. I think that actually they worked well together. I don't think either one of them could have done the job by themselves, quite honestly. She was a little bit more bubbly. She was a little bit more up. Obviously, he's low-key. That's how sidekicks and straight people
Right.
work together with their...
Some felt that the highlight was when Billy Crystal showed up, because he'd done it so many times. I guess he's tired of doing it. And he did a little bit of a tribute to Bob Hope and the times he had done
Yeah.
hosting it. So some people feel that a comedian's better suited to host that than just an actor.
Well, we're
Yeah,
very used to
yeah.
having people like Bob Hope.
Right.
One of the things I liked about this, and the Bob Hope thing reminds me of it, is that it was almost like a lesson to people who may not have seen it, but might be watching now because of Anne Hathaway and James Franco. It was a lesson about what the Academy Awards were. They gave us a little history about it, who had been the hosts before, how this whole thing came about, who the first winners were, how long this has been going on, etc., which was, I think this really played to a whole different audience. They're trying a lot of new things, like the 10 Best
Right,
Picture
10
categories.
films, yeah.
And they're just feeling their way out to try and see what the new mediums are going to allow us to.
I guess one of the
do,
goals was to bring in younger viewers. I don't know how
Yeah.
successful that was. Some people like tradition and like it to always be, a comedian and everybody wear tuxedos and be very formal. Other times people like it when it's informal and, everybody wears turtlenecks and jeans or something. I don't know. It's sort of a, they shake it up sometimes to try and make it different.
Your comment was about the gowns. Everybody was very elegant.
Yeah, like I said, there's no like Gaga outfits out there, nobody to make any comment about. And I think the public really wants to see something that say, oh my God, did you see that? They almost look for that, out of the Academy Awards. And this year, it was pretty maybe bland, very nice, but didn't have that wow.
No streakers, no
Yeah, right.
political, well,
Exactly.
maybe one political comment, but nothing
Yeah,
major,
yeah.
nobody refusing their award or anything dramatic like that.
Right. There was, yeah.
And everybody waiting for Kirk Douglas to get that supporting role out, like, come on.
Yeah, that was nice to see him and actually to be up there. Finally, the kids' choir at the end. It got some good reviews. Some people said, oh, please, no more Up With People. I don't know, what was your take on the kids' choir?
What do you think?
Well, yeah, it was something that we saw on the internet. I think wasn't it Anne Hathaway who saw them performing and decided that she wanted to have them on with her. One more example of just trying virtually, throw in a bunch of noodles against the wall and see which ones stick.
All right. Hey, we thank you both for sticking your necks out and making predictions last week and for coming on today.
And I will tell you that actually of all of the categories, and there are 25,
Yeah.
Barbara actually got about 20 of them right. So she
I
was,
did?
yeah,
Oh.
you were.
Congratulations.
Good.
Great. Thank you both for joining us. Good to have you on the program today.
Thanks.
We'll be continuing on with more of what's going on around your busy community right after this timeout, so stay with us.